What's up, good people? As you can see, I got the core four slash stock squad. We are united. We are the Avengers. Hey, we're your humble servants, is what we are. We're here to serve you guys, and that's why we agreed to do this. We try to do this twice a month. Listen, let's get right into it. Let's make sure that we are hitting that like button right off the top. Let me start by saying this also too. Hey, we got Keenan at the top. Let me put myself up there. Say what's up. You know what, Keenan? No, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. Let me set the house in order first. All right. So first, good people. Number one, I'm just going to open up and say it. If you're not in the stock squad, you're missing out on some great plays. We only post our winning. We try to just only post winning trades in the stock squad Patreon. That is in the link below. That's the second link below. And because I am hosting, boom, we got Stock Up U, Stock Up University. That's going to be the second link below. I'm going to move that to the second link below. Come and learn and earn from all of us. But today is all about the stock squad. Speaking of the stock squad, Mo, why don't you start off by saying hello to the people?
What is going on, my friends? A lot of good things out there today, and I am happy to be here. Larry, thank you for allowing me on your channel. I always love talking to everyone. When we get together, I always say it's like a family reunion. We get to compare notes, compare and contrast, see where the things are going, who's making money, who's not, what companies look good. All of this in one place, man. You get four of us together, it's a good time. So I'm looking forward to talking about. We got CPI coming up. We got the PPI happened. We got Treasuries finally starting to rebound. Is it going to continue? Man, we got so much to talk about, Larry. I'm looking forward to this.
Man, this is what's up, as the kids used to say. This is what's up. This is what's up. My man Keenan, say hello to the fam.
So I had to unmute myself. So I want to say this, everybody. Join the Stock Squad Discord so you can see the options that we play, so you can see the stocks that we buy, so you can see how we are playing this market. We already know what happened with September. Now we're in October. If you lost money in September due to, let's call it ignorance, let's call it over trading, let's call it being alone on an island and not having a tribe, it's time to come join the tribe so that you can say, you know what? I'm worth investing into myself, right? Some people just want to just be given everything, but do none of the work. I seen something the other day, and it was actually, we went to Vid Summit. We saw Mr. Beast. Ooh, you know who Mr. Beast is. We saw a lot of big YouTubers, but somebody stood out to me. His name was Myron Goldman. He's on
Yep.
YouTube as well. And he said, and it was something that I heard another person say too, Kevin Samuels as well, rest in peace. And it was, some of you don't deserve what you think you want. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, you know what? I want $1 billion. I want to have a six pack. But have I been starting a business that generated $1 billion for me? Not yet. Have I been eating the way that I need to and hitting the gym? Not yet. So I want these things, but I haven't earned it yet. So what do I do? Do I cry a river, or do I say, oh, wait, it's time for me to start to do the things so that I can now deserve the things that I want instead of just being stuck in the wanting them phase? I want to invest into myself first, put myself around people who are billionaires, put myself around people who are doing well and working out and eating better. So then I could absorb some of that, family. So then when you see us and you say, man, you know what? I wish I had $1 million. You see us, man, I wish I had people who would watch me on a live stream. Oh, you got to get around what you want to be, family. So then I invite you again to join the Stock Squad Discord. I see you over there.
You know what? I had said, hey, you know what? We all know Josh comes out like Mike Tyson. I say, Josh, say hello. Josh walks in the ring and just go, boom. So you know what, Josh? You say hello and just do your thing. You be you.
Come out, Josh.
All right. Well, For one, I might be a little bit subdued, but I do have a clear path that I want to share with everybody. First of all, Larry, thank you for having us together tonight. And I just want to say that there is so much power in the four of us coming together, brainstorming about the market, brainstorming about wealth, and then bringing the whole family together, as Mo said, the family reunion, bringing everybody into that and connecting like-minded people making money. Now, I want to do what Keenan did. We went out last week to Dallas, Texas, and we did a Vid Summit over there. And I had the chance of listening to a guy named Tom Bilyeu. I don't know if you guys can see
Yeah,
that.
that
That's
dude.
his
Billionaire.
name, right? He's a billionaire. And so his talk was, if he could go back in time and take everything he's learned that's made him a huge financial success, a billionaire, go back and talk to himself at 20, what exactly would he say? He said, guys, I'm time traveling. And I'm going to treat you guys as if I was speaking to a younger version of myself. And I'm going to lay out really quick some of the things he said. He said, don't give up and be hyper specific. And one of the, and so we had the opportunity to sit with him and kind of have him break that down. But I think for a lot of you, and we see it in the comment section, we see it in the Discord, mistakes get made. This is a crazy market. It's been extremely choppy. We had the Fed come out and imply that they were going to raise rates again this year. He may or may not. We don't know. We got to get there to find out. But it's been a little bit. The markets came all the way down to 418 on the SPY. Then we came all the way up to the neckline that I told you guys, 433. We pushed above it, but now we're struggling at it. And I think there's a strong probability that we're going to come back a little bit to the middle. But what I'm just going to say is, just like this billionaire's advice, don't give up. If you've made a mistake, that's okay. But what you need to do now is get hyper specific about what the plan is. And I'm hoping that for some of you, because you guys know I'm a technical trader, I get with guys like Larry Jones and Mo and Keenan. Larry's a momentum trader, all right? And we talk about trades, and he shares momentum ideas. I share technical trade ideas. But if you need to get hyper specific, what mistakes did you make? And what lessons can you learn? What can you invest your time in that's going to keep you from making those mistakes again? For now, I think it's joining this live and connecting with us, because we're going to drill into opportunities tonight, as well as lessons, as well as perspectives on the market. And so I, like all of us, let's down the road, like Bill said, or Tom said, let's be hyper specific with our goals and let's make some money.
I'm glad you said that, Josh. I got pages and pages. I got books and books and books and anything I can find to write on, because what? I rarely write down my wins. I only write down where I made mistakes, right? And listen, the lessons are in the mistakes, right? So what I want to do is let's see here, Mo, we're going to talk about this. I'm going to pin this comment. This comment says, and we're going to talk about this anyway. So are we in for a bear market, a bull market, or will the Fed still increase rates? Can I buy a home in the next 5 years? Ha, ha, ha. Luke Smith. Luke, we want to answer Luke's question, because it's a great question. We were literally just talking about this before we went live. Go ahead at it, Mo.
I got you. I'll start this one off. Let me tell you something. In my opinion, get ready. The bulls are running. And I switched a lot of my stuff up. As they know, over at the Stock Squad Patreon, I made so many moves today. I put a ton of cash into plays. If you guys are not over there, you need to come on over. The family was at work today. We were all doing our thing. And I don't know about the other three, but I can tell you this. I like what I see. I like the technical setups of the big seven, the magnificent seven. Call it the magnificent 10, because I'm going to tell you, I even got out there buying some triple leverage ETFs that deal with NVIDIA, Tesla, Apple, Google. If you know, you know. I got to tell you, Larry, I like what I see. Here's my prediction. We move forward through October. October ends up being one of the best months of this year. We get into November. I think it continues for a little bit. It might go longer. We got to watch the data. we get into December, I think depending what part of December, I'm going to be moving back into my treasuries. And for those wondering, I made a sick amount of moves today in terms of selling my T-bills well into the 6 digits worth into plays to ride this market, to ride the tech plays. Now, I shared with the family one of them big plays, and this is getting close to, it's a big play, NVIDIA. I think I probably am closing in on 100,000 worth of exposure to NVIDIA. And this is a short-term play. And I did this because the chart set up beautifully. Everything was great. I shared them on here. We had all kinds of good stuff going on. Larry, if you don't mind, I could show it real quick on my screen just to give them a heads up.
Yes,
And
sir.
I pointed this out days ago. We crossed over. The 5 crossed the 13, my EMAs. I like to see it crossing the 50. The 13 crosses the 50. We had everything set up. The RSI crosses the 50. We get confirmation. I was loading up. All right. So I'm loading up right in here, and I expect it to get above 484.14 and retest the 502. And I was buying. And since then, it's taken off. And I see some people in the comments, my friends, if you were with me, put that fire emoji. You are in on the NVIDIA play. You're in on maybe Apple or Tesla play. Check it out. NVIDIA is the one I like the best. So for those following along, that is the move. I see good things happening over the next 6 to 8 weeks. I think the charts are very bullish. I think everything has been oversold, extreme fear, and that spring is pushed down so hard, we're going to get a release, but it's going to be the final release before the recession of 2024 kicks in. And I think that happens either Q1 or Q2 will be the first official quarter of the recession. The Fed no longer has to go overboard. What happened to yields over the last few weeks in the treasuries? They love it. Now you're seeing little whispers. They won't say they're done, but they're saying we might not have to do anymore. And you're seeing TMF run up double digits in the last few days in percentage terms. Everything's changing. The bears are getting roasted in equities and in bonds. You're starting to sense it. And I wanted to make moves today over at the Stock Squad Patreon, and I did. So if you guys aren't over there with the Discord, come on over, man, because this run's just getting started, in my opinion.
Can
All right.
I follow up, Larry?
Please do, Josh. Go ahead and follow up.
So I want to talk a little bit about NVIDIA. Mo, first of all, the last live that we did, you absolutely called that move up, and I want to acknowledge that.
Thank you.
So
Appreciate it.
you killed that. I also had shared with the family a chart showing resistance for the Magnificent Seven. Plus, I called it the Magnificent 7 or 8 if you wanted to include Netflix. And I also gave a target that we would get to where we're at today. Today, I hit the target that I had called out. Now, I did an update in the Discord, and this is where I wanted to bounce this out with you, Mo, and kind of see what your thoughts are on this. Now, yes, we could, if we wanted to look down to the end of this year, we could make a case for things going pretty bullish. I had pointed out that there's actually forming on NVIDIA a head and shoulders pattern, and I wanted to take a minute to just to explain the benefits and limitations of that pattern that it does appear to be forming. First of all, we could go all the way up, I believe, to 480 to match the left shoulder on NVIDIA. And so to be clear, I think as well as Mo that there is definitely opportunity for this to move higher than just 467. Yeah, 480
Yes, that's the one.
is where it could go if it were to form a right shoulder to a overall bearish setup. Now, I wanted to explain to people, if we blast above and with volume and we close above 480, then it would begin to absolutely negate the head and shoulders pattern. We could possibly get to 482, and if it did a quick reversal and came all the way down to the neckline at 409, then it would be taking shape. But I wanted to warn people that even though there is bullish opportunity up from here, and even as high as 480, we could be forming a head and shoulders pattern on there, and so we have to keep an eye on it. One of the things that I said is, if we did right now break above 467 and go as high as 480, I'd be watching for a close back beneath 467 at 466 to consider taking puts for a breakdown move back potentially to the neckline of 409. Now, I'm not predicting that. I think that how that shapes out, whether we go strong into the end of this year, which I lean towards believing that what Mo is saying, there is a significant probability for that, because I've been saying for a long time that we are in a clear uptrend that began in January of this year. We went up for 5.5 months. We simply had a correction mode that only brought us down 10%. We did not even get a full 10% drawback on the S&P 500. And since then, we've fired up, pushing all of our favorite stocks to the top or near the top of their range. And I do also, like Mo, think that we have yet to hit the peak on that. Apple can easily go to 182 and 185. I personally think there's a high probability of it going to 182 tomorrow. And who knows, if the day runs strong, we might see it at 185. But we have had a nice run up, and we're sort of between the middle of the range. We hit up that 433 on the SPY. Now we're cooling off. And so I think that I just wanted to put that view out there and get your reaction on that, Mo, regarding NVIDIA. What are your thoughts?
You know what? I absolutely love it. I'm sitting there looking at it, and I pull up. Larry, if you put me on center screen there, I'll answer you up there.
You're coming.
Yep. And
just go ahead.
And I drew that line here, and it's going to be a little harder because this. All right, there we go. So I can see your 480. We topped off up here at the top of that cucumber, and as we come over, I see what you're talking about. It's right in that range. I was using the fib there to get the 482, but I see your 480 absolutely makes sense for that head and shoulders. That is one pattern that I absolutely do not discount. That pattern is strong. You do not want to just walk away from a head and shoulders. And the question becomes, is there enough with NVIDIA? I'm not talking about all the Magnificent 7 or 8. I'm with you on that too. I think we can go 10. There's a couple of them, and they're really carrying this market. But when I look at that, I still think out of all the stocks that you're watching very similar patterns with them, I think this is the one that could actually break through. And I'm not sure if it will or not, but I've said it already. The 482 is what I'm kind of looking for. I will be locking in profits with a stop loss, a trailing stop loss, once I get above I would say probably 470 is what I'm going to look for to make sure we lock in, and I'll be protective of the gains I have. And we'll see. But right now, like I said, I feel like NVIDIA has the fuel to make this shot to the moon. We'll see if it can happen. I think if there's any stock out there in this group, it's going to be NVIDIA that can carry the weight. We saw it in the past.
Sentence at the end of his.
Sure.
You done? You what were you?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm only going to say this. It's a little bit of a strange wrap up. I feel the way Mo does about NVIDIA. I feel that way about Tesla. I think it's going to be the outlier that breaks higher and possibly gets to all-time highs at 300. I'm not married to that. I know that when sometimes people that have some knowledge in this space are bullish, others try to one-up them and get more bullish. I can tell you guys that my loyalty to holding Tesla to 300 evaporates immediately right underneath a break of support. So just keep that in mind. But I did want to throw out there that I feel the way about Tesla, the way Mo feels about NVIDIA. But we're going to keep these conversations going about these hot stocks, because I know these are the same ones that you guys are in.
So let me just say this, though. Real quick.
Go ahead.
You made me feel good, Josh, because I bought the 1.5 Teslas today, the shares of Tesla. I love it. When Josh comes in, and I haven't talked to him, and he says, hey, Mo, I love Tesla like you like NVIDIA. Well, good, because I put just as much money in Tesla today with the 1.5. So you made me feel good. So that's fantastic.
You guys know what I bought a lot of. Actually, I bought thousands of dollars worth of over the last month. And Keenan, I want you to chime in after that. This is what I bought a lot of over the last month. VOO. I bought.
Larry, what if it drops?
You know what?
Buy more.
You say that again. Ask that question again, Keenan.
But Larry, what if it drops?
I hope it does. Go ahead and take it from there, Keenan. Explain why you think I bought it.
So, VOO is similar to the SPY. It's similar to the S&P 500 because it tracks the S&P 500, except we choose VOO because it has a lower expense ratio than the SPY. Little do most people, I would say they probably don't even know. You actually have to pay to hold an ETF. If you hold the SPY, you got to pay 0.09. I know that doesn't sound like a lot. If you hold VOO, you got to pay 0.03. Oh, what does this mean? You got the same thing, might as well pay less for it, right? When you get a lot of money, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, oh, those little percentages start to really add up. What if I told you I was gonna give you $100? You probably wouldn't be, yeah, that's good, right? That wouldn't change your life though. What if I told you I was gonna give you 1% of $1 billion? You'd be like, whoa, you see what I'm saying? Now the percentages, when the numbers are huge, it start to make a lot of sense.
That's a
So you
good
got to
point,
think
man.
about your wealth that way. And I say all of that to say the S&P 500 is, and honestly, when you look at it, sometimes it's a little more than 500, sometimes a little less, but I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty details. What I want
Right.
you to think of is it's a basket of stocks that people buy. Why? So they don't have to go and pick a stock. If you're in VOO and NVIDIA is running up, Apple is running up, Meta is running up, guess what? You get to have a piece of that run up without having to been some type of genius at picking stocks. You get to be a part of it. When you go and you look at the S&P 500, a lot of the stocks are either down or flat on the year. But the top like 10, 15 of them, like the big tech stocks, they've been pulling the whole market up, family. So, you don't have to be great at picking stocks. And what people do is this. They get into the game. The first stock they ever buy is GameStop. The first stock they ever buy, AMC. The first stock they ever buy, BBIG, something like from Reddit.
Come on.
The first crypto they ever buy is Pepe, Shiba Inu, Dogecoin, something like that, right? And then they get burned because they didn't know how to trade it. And then they throw the baby out with the bathwater. People never come back to the market again. I want you to see something that's crazy, right? We're on a YouTube channel. Keenan Grace has over 400,000 subs. Larry has over 600,000 subs. Mo is close to that too. Josh has over 70,000 subs. There's thousands of us in here. Why is that? When the market is down, family, when the market ain't just booming like in 2021, guess what everybody does? They forget that it's time to really load up. So then when they see that you are richer than you were, guess what they're going to tell you? Man, you just got lucky. It must be nice to be you. Right? That's what they're going to tell you. They're not going to think about the grind that you put in when the market was down. But they'll all be back. And then they'll say, man, I should have, man, I should have. Listen, I'm not living that life where I should have, could have, would have.
Right.
When I see VOO drop, I'm loading up on it.
You know what? It's you hitting it right on the head, Keenan, because listen, it's simple for me. It's simple for me. And you know, these guys, I respect all of these guys. We bring something new to the table. All of us could trade every day. And at the end of the day, every month will be positive. We can swing trade, we can day trade. But when it comes to what I call the easy set it and forget it, something like VOO, it's simple. If I can look at a stock and it may, and then I go to the 5-day, it looks like this, right, Keenan? And then I go to the month, not so much, but then I go 6 months, it's green. If I go year to date, it's up 14%. If I go a year, 22%, 5 years, 58%, max 293%, then that's easy for me. Those are the ones that I don't have to guess on, like Keenan was saying. I don't have to worry about where is it at today. I hope it does go down. I'm simply going to buy more because I know over a period of time I'm buying it, right? So, hey, Josh, do you have your computer up?
I don't have the ability to show my charts. I do, Larry.
You don't have to show your charts. Can you pull up Palantir? Because
Yes.
Palantir did get a new contract, and someone asked about Palantir, and I think Palantir is going to be waking up here soon. Just let me know when you get that up.
I've got it up.
Okay.
Off subject, Meta to 330. Go ahead, Larry. What's the question on Palantir?
All right. I'm going to pull you up. Now, they just got this contract. I believe it was yesterday, so a lot of people were doing calls on it. It ran up. What do you see? What does a short look? And I know that this is not reality. You can't just call everything perfectly by looking at a chart for like 5 minutes. But what is the first thing that comes to your Go ahead.
Man, I can make this so easy. So Palantir, here's the issues and trouble with Palantir. First of all, great run up, incredible move. The chart now leans to be bearish because of the move up. And yes, in the long run, this move could confirm that our lower lows are behind us. But in the short term, it's called overbought. And when something's overbought, one of the first and easiest ways to look at it, Mo talks about it on his page all the time, is the Bollinger Bands. And right now we are through the top of the Bollinger Bands. And so we're at a place where you would typically see rejection. Now, as far as shorting it, if you were to get a nice close beneath $17, then I would see a easy short to 16 and then possibly to 15. 15 is where I see what I'd call strong support. And so any more spike ups, maybe a spike up tomorrow to $19, which would not be unrealistic, I would be considering entering a put and scaling it if it broke beneath 17 for a pullback to at least 16, if not $15. That's the bearish play on Palantir right now.
All right. So while you have your computer up, I want you to pull up Mara, because I'm going to, we're just going to discuss Mara, lovely Mara, like Zip Trader
And
says.
I got, and you know what? Truthfully, I've got Mara's chart memorized in my brain. I can see it right now. Question.
Let's go right in. Let's just go right into. You know what? Hold that. Just hold that. We're gonna come right back to you, and then I want you other guys to chime in too on the crypto. All right. And you guys, I don't know if you guys been following what's been happening with this trial, man. It is absolutely going to be a movie with Sam Bankman and his girlfriend. That's going to be a movie. I promise you. Yep. So Josh, we'll bring you up next, but we got a super chat here, and he asked a good question. He asked, what's the point of another interest rate increase if it takes several months to have an effect on inflation, or have all the other hikes had a chance to bring inflation down? So first of all, thank you for the super chat. Hey, honey. Yeah, put the hot dogs away. We can have chicken now. Okay, so
I love Larry. Larry, man, I love you.
Appreciate the super chat, John. God bless you. So you're right. So we've never in the history of interest rate hikes had this many interest rate hikes, and to this degree ever. We have never had them. And because inflation was so far out, it's kind of like a rope-a-dope, right? So the Fed just keeps doing a rope-a-dope on this inflation with interest rate hikes. He also knows that hiking the interest rates means that you have less money to spend, right? It's going to cause eventually higher unemployment, making sure that you have less money to spend so inflation can come down, because inflation is the worst of the two evils, right? So there is still, now, Mo, you're probably stronger on we won't have another interest rate hike. I'm neutral. There could be, because I remember when Volcker was fighting this, and he stopped raising rates a little too soon, and then inflation came back and consumed us. And so Powell wants to make sure that this does not happen. So he even stated it in a lot of his FOMC meetings. He even stated that I would rather err on the side of being too hawkish, meaning aggressive, and getting inflation under control, rather than being too dovish and inflation rearing its ugly head. What do you got to say about that, Mo?
Oh, I got all kinds. Volcker, man, he was an animal. And
Yes,
Larry, I appreciate Larry more than anybody knows, because he knows the history of the economy. He knows what happened with the Fed. Volcker days, they were crazy.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, let me compare and contrast Volcker and my good friend Jay Powell, who brings the muskrat souffle every time I wanted to bring pumpkin pie. The guy, he's out there. But Larry nailed it. Volcker, back then, the economy, and we had inflation, they raised rates, and it got to the point where, like, well, maybe we can start cutting, maybe we can start taking it easy. And they did. And inflation roared back. And the next time, they got even more aggressive. They said, we're going to break the back of inflation no matter what it took. And a little known fact here, it got to the point that they were almost going to stop, but it worked. And they weren't sure. If you read the books that they wrote afterwards, they thought it would work, but they weren't 100% sure. So Volcker is now considered a guru for what he did. But he admits later on, they weren't 100% positive it was going to work. And they were actually doubting until it actually worked. So now Jay Powell, fast forward to where we are now, Jay Powell has used a secret weapon that Volcker didn't have. And I am 100, Larry said it right. I am very, very against them raising rates. I don't think they need to. We're way into constricted territory. And this is why I want you guys to understand this is a little bit different than prior times. Volcker never could use the press to his advantage. The feds never came out and talked about any decisions they were going to make. Back then, when me and Larry were just knee-high to a pumpkin pie, all you would get is the day they would announce rate cuts or rate hikes. That's all you got. You get no conversations. There was nothing. Your credit card went up. I don't even know if we had a credit. My family couldn't afford credit cards. We heard the rich folk down the street got credit cards,
right,
and their interest went up. We were still getting our little blocks of cheese and stuff. But anyway, that's a whole different story.
Man, don't hate on the government cheese. Don't hate on the government cheese.
Oh,
go ahead,
dude.
Go ahead.
I didn't know I was. Hey, listen, Larry.
We didn't even know we was poor.
I didn't know I was poor until I went to a high school, and the rich kids and the poor kids all came together, and we're like, "Come down to my house. We're having toast cheese sandwiches. And we got making iced tea. The iced tea was in a milk jug out back with some packets in it in the sun, and we were cooking up the government orange cheese. I didn't know cheese was supposed to be orange.
Hey, Mo, and their cheese was individually wrapped. Their cheese was individually
ours
wrapped.
Wasn't. It was a block. That's why I know Larry knows, because Larry he knows because we got a block of orange cheese, man. That was it. And it wasn't wrapped. You had to get a knife out, put it in the sun so it would loosen up a little bit. We did get butter. Our parents always have butter, so we put butter on the bread, fry it up, have the iced tea. I don't know if your childhood was like mine, Larry, but I didn't know I was poor.
Yeah, man.
Got to the high school, kids are like, "What? You don't have Kraft?" I'm like, "What? What's this Kraft cheese, man?" I thought everything was orange. It was yellow. I didn't know cheese was yellow. Come on. Anyways, all right. So here's the deal. In all seriousness. The Fed, and I'm talking, I got my family's money riding on this. I got my retirement riding on this. Even though I'm joking and having fun with the guys because they're like my family, I'm being serious about this. They are using their words successfully, and they're going to write books about what they did to scare yields up. I'd say one of the biggest hikes I've ever seen in the yields of the treasuries over the last few weeks. It crushed. It did exactly what they wanted. They kept coming out and saying stuff, and it worked. We seen the 10-year getting close to 5, and everybody said 5. There's no way it might touch 5, and it got up close. And all of a sudden, you realize that the damage from the rate hikes that take 6 months to 18 months to fully kick in, they don't need another one. If they did another one, the effect of that wouldn't kick in for a half a year to a year and a half. They don't need it. They're already, right. I think, 200 basis points above what they need to be constrictive. Everybody knows this. So what would another 25 basis points do? All right. And so in other words, they have come out this week. Why did TMF run up 15% roughly this week from the lows? Because the Fed realized they don't need to do the rate hikes anymore. And I've been saying this for months. This is exactly what would happen. And I'm also telling you for months that you're going to see a rate cut, most likely March or May. Could be June at the latest, but March is still my month. I think pain gets bad where they're like, all right, we need to cut. And that's coming 6 months from now. And so the Fed came out this week, the vice president, a couple of them, and they said, well, the yields going up did our work for us. We no longer have to be as aggressive, i.e., we don't have to raise the rates anymore. And you may have seen a bottom in the treasuries. I know there's 1,000 million bears out there on treasuries. I'm one of the few bulls left. I'm buying. And so I'm going to ride this. Hopefully it pays off like I think it will. But that's my take, Larry. Hope you enjoyed the story too, man.
All right.
Reminiscing.
Keenan, I'm going to put you on Front Street, and I want you to address this, and then, Josh, you could come in. So Darlene asked a good question. We have to deal with this, but I'm going to preface this, right? She says, if stuff hits the fan in the Middle East, which it already has, would that would that negate everything you said about FANG? All right, let me read that again. If stuff hits the fan in the Middle East, would that negate everything you said about Fang, right? So of course, Josh, you're gonna jump in with that. Let me put some rules up here. We are not talking about, we're not choosing, we're not going into the political part of this. We do know that lives have been lost, and we condemn loss of life, right? And we are not politicizing this. We're just going to talk about the effect on the stock market in your lives too, right? We pray that there are no loss of lives, and we pray for peace. So let's just get that out there, all right? So now, Keenan, that's a great question because it's what's weighing on everyone's mind. Go ahead and answer her question.
So I made a video today. I posted it maybe 30 minutes ago, maybe an hour ago. And I seen a picture on CNBC, seen a picture on CNN, seen a picture on Fox, no matter what political side you're on. And it was a girl, a little girl, maybe she was 6, 7, 8, and blood all on her face. She might have just survived a bombing. And the first responders are carrying her and they're rushing her out of there, right? And what I thought was, wow, like Larry said, we don't want to see people losing their lives, losing their families. But then my business brain turned on and I was thinking, are the people who are posting this girl's picture, Fox News, CNBC, CNN, are they going to donate any of the ad revenue to her family and her rescue? And they're not. So the reason that I say that is they're going to get richer off of your attention.
Yep.
Are you going to get richer off of the world in the way that it is? Or are you just going to make others richer? When you think about Fang, Facebook, Apple, Netflix, Nvidia, Google, right? However you want to describe Fang, if they fell down because there was a world pandemic, the year 2020, oh man, how's that going to impact Fang? It's going to impact it in a way that it's going to be negative, and then I'm going to go load up on it. So when it comes back, I could be positive. We got to think about how the big dogs, the corporations, the institutions, the news networks, the broadcasting networks, they're going to get rich off of whatever is going on. But are you? You can, but you got to say, hey, I'm willing to not get spooked out of this. Warren Buffett once said, when you're in the stock market, sometimes it's not all about having the smartest brain. Sometimes it's about having the toughest stomach, because people can't stomach the dip on these great companies that are still profitable. If you are loading up on companies that are not earning money, they're not profitable, you go look at the PE ratio and it's a blank line or it's negative, they're not earning any money. It's going to be hard for them to prove that their stock is worth what their stock is. So when you see positive companies, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Fang, for example, Facebook, all of these, or Meta now, you got to tell yourself, it's my turn to get rich. I don't want to end up destitute like this little girl that they're parading around, and they're not going to help. Nobody's going to come and save her. Nobody's going to come and save you. So you got to make sure that you save yourself, family. I just want to leave it at that.
Wow, man, that's powerful, Keenan, and very true. I agree with everything you said. Unfortunately, there's loss of life, and so now I want you to piggyback while I still have you up and really talk about what effect that it will have on Fang. Keenan?
Well, I said it's going to dip. You going to buy it or not?
Okay.
Right? I'm buying the dip. That's what I said.
It's going to dip. All right.
It'll dip, and I'm buying it. It is what it is. Just like in 2020, it just is what it is.
Yeah.
The world, the big institutions, they're gonna buy it. Are you gonna buy it? I'm gonna buy it. It's not gonna change anything of the profitability of the company. And I see a comment from a knucklehead. I'm calling you out. Zenzel 305. I don't feel like you listening at all. I feel like it's gonna be 2025. And no disrespect, but you're gonna have $500 more than you had, or $500 less. And the reason is you're not really paying attention hard when you have $500,000 more than you have, if you just really think and you really pay attention. But instead, and I'm just saying this. I feel like every time I get on here, I got punched somebody in the chest. But it is what it is. I want you to be better.
We ain't gonna waste a lot of time with the.
I want you to do better. And how do you do better? You got to actually open your ears, not to just what you want to hear, but what you need to hear.
Yep, I hear you. Listen, Josh, I want you to answer that question too, because we can't not answer that question.
All right, I'm ready. I've got some thoughts. First off, I want to just acknowledge Keenan. I've spent some time with this guy one
Yes.
on one, and what I know about Keenan is he's a teacher.
Right.
And in years back,
Amen.
it was a literal job to determine whether or not the students were getting what he was laying down, because that was the only
Mhm.
way he could adjust and make sure that they were going to move forward and pass the grade. So, Keenan, you are right. I think that that's exactly what's coming out is your teacher's heart. So, thank you for reiterating that. In regards to my thoughts on the CPI, I have some very strong opinions. Maybe they'll be different from others. Maybe you guys will agree, but here's what I think. The market makes decisions in advance of data, in advance of news. The only time the news actually impacts the market is when it was radically different than what was expected. I believe that we went into this month, I think the market was absolutely expecting sticky inflation, a hawkish Fed, and a bad PPI report. The markets went up with a bad PPI report. And so what that tells me is the markets can go up with a bad CPI report. And the reason why they can go up in both of those with both of those data points is the market already guessed that they were bad and it priced it in. It's why Apple lingered under $173 and under $174 for days before eventually crawling its way out, is because they were pricing in this risk that was ahead of us. And so if it comes out not good, and you see the markets flying, I just want you to remember that it's because it was in line with the expectation. It wasn't worse than expected. Yeah, it's not going to be good. Yeah, we know we're going to have a hawkish Fed in December. He may or may not raise the rates. I lean towards thinking that he will, but who knows? But the bottom line is that the other reason why the Fed, I'm going to go back to another question, Larry, if I have permission to go a
Sure.
little
Go.
bit further back to another question on the inflation. The fact is that yes, what the Fed has done has worked. But the number one indicator that the economy is staying strong, and folks, listen to me, it's a tight labor market. Now, if the labor market loosened up and nobody could find work, then the Fed would become dovish. But we have an incredible labor market that is only showing itself to be strong month after month, data report after data report. And so the rate increase has not worked well enough yet. And I think that he's allowing some time for the increase that occurred very rapidly over 2022 to be digested. But ultimately, he's going to continue to be hawkish because the economy is still strong. And we know that because everybody's working. And Larry and I, we've traded and talked for decades. And we both remember the unemployment lines back in
Oh,
2007. 2008 and
yes.
2009. We do not have those. I'm still talking to nieces and nephews that
Yeah.
are killing it. Me and Larry were out in Dallas, and we were talking to his adopted son, Keon. And
Yeah.
Keon's making more bucks than any of us probably did when we were in our 20s. So we have a
29 making
one.
$20,000 a month,
Yeah.
$22,000 a month, and he's 29,
And you know
28. I
what?
mean,
Seems like more jobs are being offered to him. So we could rally going into the end of this week simply because the market already priced in the damage back here in the last 2 months. They did it. They priced it in August. They priced it in September. Now it's time to go and test the top of the range. And that's what we've been seeing. So believe your eyes, folks, when you look at those charts.
all right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to answer another question. I wanted to make sure I answer, like talk to the people. I hate looking at lives and they never talk to the people. Like people are asking questions. They do the whole live and don't answer one question. And so we want this to be interactive. So we thank each and every one of you guys for watching this. But if you're watching and you have not selected that like button, that costs zero. So go ahead and hit that like button right now. Okay. So listen, this is what I want to answer. And when I finish answering this, starting with Mo and then Keenan and then Josh, I want you guys to talk about whatever you want to talk about, and that's going to be a wrap, okay? Whatever you want to say to the people, starting with Mo and then Keenan and then Josh, okay? But let me answer this question first. He says, "Hi, Larry. Any potential for SNA 8?" So these are the stock that I was shorting SNA is Snap-on, and ALV. These are auto companies. These are companies that manufacture parts and tools for the auto industry. Okay, so now if you was following my plays, you know that I got in. We made great money a couple of times, and I actually got out. So I sold all my positions for wins. I shared with you guys here on my page. You have to watch the news. Okay, you have to watch the news. Okay, I pulled American Airline would be the one that if you're up green, that would be the one that I think I pulled back on that because I think they were suspending flights to Israel. So that both of these are based on what? News stories, right? So you have the war with American Airline, and then SNA and ALV was for what? The auto industry. Now, as those turn or get worse, so if they get worse, then you're going to make more money because I ran puts on all of them. But if they turn around and there's a reversal and they get better, then your put options are going to get crushed. So that's the only thing I could say. I am out of those plays, but you have to monitor the news daily on those plays. All right, Mo, whatever you want to talk about, I want you to talk about that right now, Mo.
Yeah, no problem. So I guess as I look at what's going on out there in the market, and I know everybody is trying to prepare for the best moves you can. And it's hard when we come on here and we talk because each of us is an individual with its own unique situation. How much risk can you take? Are you in retirement? Well, you can't take a lot of risk. Are you a 20-something-year-old watching this right now saying, man, I got 40 years left. I can take the risk. It's true. The longer you go out that you don't need to touch your money you got invested, a little bit more risk is what they teach us as advisors to go ahead. And then at that point, the younger you are, the more risk you can take. The older you get, you start to move into treasuries and these things that are safer because you can't afford to lose your money because you're not going to work all that extra time to be able to rebuild in case the market goes down. And so everybody's a unique situation. Now, with that being said, I have a good 15, 25 years left of just squirreling money away, man. I'm not going to let old Uncle J Pal come in here with his stinky muskrat souffle and ruin it. I'm going to make money no matter what this guy does. And so my plan, and I hope it works out, we'll see, is to continue to move money. Now, I told you last time we were here, I did the barbell. I want to make sure the family knows. I'm not going to keep this behind some paywall or something. I'm going to let you know. I've been making moves. I moved out of a lot of money out of T-bill and have been putting it in where I think it makes me the most money. Right now, I'm with Josh. Josh nails it. He loves Tesla. I loved it. It was like music to my ears because I was loading up on Tesla today. I love NVIDIA. The charts, I just looked at the Tesla. They both look fantastic. They should do well. But as Keenan says, sometimes whack, whack, whack. It happens to us. We don't get what we wanted. Even though everything 2 plus 2 should be 4, Jay Powell comes out, moves the goalpost, and says, no, it equals red. It doesn't make sense, but it hits us. Now, most of the times, though, if we follow the data, we follow the macroeconomic environment, it leads to profits. And I feel very strongly with the extreme fear in the market, extreme put to call option, with the put options to call options through the roof. Man, it is screaming that spring is down and it's going to explode up. And I think we're going to have a 1 to 2% day in the NASDAQ over the next few days / weeks in October. And I think October goes down as one of the best months this year. I really feel this way. And so I moved money out of my short-term treasury bills and moved it into actually higher risk 1.5 times Tesla, 1.5 times NVIDIA plays. I have some triple leverage plays. I have all these different plays. If you want to see them all, come on over to the Stock Squad. We can talk about it, the Patreon, the Discord, because we don't ever have enough time to go over everything. But I share with you what I'm doing. None of us on this channel tell you what to buy and sell. That's up to you. I'm a teacher as well. I know Keenan's a teacher as well. And the job is not for us to feed you a fish. It's to teach you to fish and let you go out and catch all the food you need to the rest of your life. If you're here just to say, tell me what to buy, tell me when to get out, we're not the right people for you. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to help you get the tools you need to get the financial freedom, to get generational wealth, so you can pass on those same tools to your family, to your kiddos, to anybody around you care about. That's what it's about. And people need to get off this high horse that you need to tell me everything. I don't want to do anything. That's the problem. We got to break that chain of just being average and I don't want to do anything. Everybody just feed me. I just want to sit around, learn, make money, crush this market. Adversity, good times, it doesn't matter. You're making money. If we get together, we help each other, we pull the research in like us four do, share it with the community, we should be able to outperform. Not every play is going to make it, but most of them should. And we should be feeding on the loaves that we're getting. So that's my opinion. That's my final words. Once again, thank you, Larry, for having me on.
Blessings. What you got to say, Keenan?
I got to say, hey guys, there's a whole lot of money to be made on the stock market. Like I was telling you, if you look at ticker symbol SPY, it closed above the previous high. I want to say for weeks, right? So we're over, let's call it 435. When you look at SPY, we're over 435 right now. We're at 437. We closed out. So what we want to see is it stay above this 435 level. If we could stay above this, you're going to see the market very likely. Again, no guarantees in this world, right? The only thing that you could guarantee is you got to pay your taxes and you're going to die, right? That's really it. Other than that, you can see if we stay above 435, right now I'm looking at it as 436, 437 or so, the market is likely to just keep pushing up, but not like running up like crazy. It'll come down some, but it'll likely keep pushing up. However, remember, things happen in the market like news catalyst. A news catalyst is something that could change the game. Like Mo was just saying, you say, yeah, 1 + 1 is 2. And next thing you know, 1 + 1 is blue. And you're like, whoa, that doesn't make any sense. Yes, because the stock market, there are people who are like institutions and retail traders, all of us together. There's insiders, there's institutions, there's retail traders. All of us together, we are all human at the end of the day. Something will happen in the world and it'll change you to the point that it should have been going up, but now it's going down. It should be going down, now it's going up. So you have to trade with the chart and not with your heart. Somebody just asked me, what does this mean? Does this mean, man, charts over love? No, trade with the chart. Don't trade with your heart. So I'm going to be trading again, like I said, on a live stream tomorrow. So you'll be able to watch me. And I do that so you can see what it really looks like in real time and how most of the time I want you to understand patience is what really gets you paid. Patience, waiting for your entries, waiting for your exits, and having risk management. If you can work on your patience and your risk management, you are 90% to being a profitable trader. Most people aren't profitable because they're not patient. They see somebody say, oh, I'm about to get a call. All right, they go get a call. Instead of being patient and waiting for the play to come to them. And everybody in the chat, write a 1 in the chat if you agree with that. And what is that? That your best plays have been easy. 1 in the chat if that's true. Your best plays have been easy. So I'll see y'all tomorrow on the live stream. Josh, it's on you.
Josh, before you go, I want you to also talk about Mara. I'm going to tell you guys that Josh and I discussed Mara, and everything that he says I agree with. And so I want you to discuss Mara and then talk about whatever you want to talk about in the same time frame.
Okay, let me get a couple things out of the way. Real quick, we talked a lot about Tesla and bullishness on Tesla. Tomorrow, if you're not in it already and you're thinking of getting in it, a possible entry would be back at 258. So don't just try to jump in anywhere, not expecting it to pull back. So tomorrow morning, it looks to me like it could come along a hourly support, ascending hourly support triangle at around 258 and possibly move up from there. That would be support from yesterday's resistance. So just a little quick technical there. Mara. Okay, guys. Now I can tell you that largely Bitcoin is moving sideways. And we're not going to be entirely out of the woods until we get out of November. I think the weekend of Thanksgiving, from that point forward, I personally am imagining that the worst could be behind us, and we will see the miners like Mara and Bitcoin and Hut and Hive and CleanSpark. We will see them potentially hit the lowest lows that they could possibly hit. Now, me and Larry have been strategizing on Mara, and there is an incredible inverse head and shoulders pattern that has formed on it. And this thing has a neckline of $20. And it hit a low back in 2022. It came down to 5. I'm not sure of the dates. I don't have it in front of me. But we came all the way down to $5. And this thing, like a rocket ship, went up to $20. Then, most people thinking the worst was behind them, it came all the way down to $3. And that's what formed the head of the inverse head and shoulders. But then from $3 over the last couple of months throughout 2023, it went all the way back up to $20 and touched the neckline. Now, I get excited when I see things in the charts like that because it seems to me like there's some manipulation pushing it to those points, getting it to where it's going to be on the low, getting it to where it's going to be on the high. Now, at this point, we are on our way back, and and there's lots of reasons people could be buying at this level of $8 because that's been a great support. But if Bitcoin has another flash down, I think that Mara could potentially flash down to 5, and that would perfectly complete the right shoulder of an inverse head and shoulders pattern. And then if it were to get all the way back up to $20, and here's what's really exciting and important to recognize, that move from $3 to $20 tells us how high this could possibly go if it were to break through the neckline at $20. And it means that we would at least get an additional $18. And so in best case scenario, if everything worked out perfectly, but it doesn't always work out perfectly, but sometimes, history doesn't repeat itself, but sometimes it rhymes. We could be looking at a $36 to $38 Mara, and 1,000 shares through someone who is patient and bought it at $5 could turn right around and near have 40K on that play. That's the way I'm playing it, and just wanted to share that with you guys tonight. Larry, any other questions?
No, that's it. I see Mara to 38. That was my price exactly. I don't think that crypto is going to run as much as it did. I know a lot of people are saying Mara to 100. They're saying Bitcoin to 1,000,000. It's not going to happen this cycle, right? It's just not. All right, and it's going to be a pullback because you got to look at everything. You got to look at where they are as opposed to where they was. I'm talking about Mara now, as opposed to and how efficient they were operating, and all of these things go into how they were operating last cycle than this cycle, and where we are in this halving. So it's a lot to go into it, but I agree with Josh wholeheartedly. Say your goodbyes, and then I'm going to sign off.
Okay, just a couple quick, Larry. This is my goodbye with a couple more technicals. I'm in the AMD play. It's performed well going into the close, great signal. It performed well in after hours, great signal. I'm thinking that it's going to hit up to 112 tomorrow, and I'm expecting to make a ton of cash. But there's no guarantee. I'm going to be looking at trimming my position at $10.80. I want to throw out a word of caution on Eli Lilly. Now, I started off with a put yesterday, and that was not a good play for Eli Lilly, even though it had come up a ton from hitting its 50-day moving average. I told you guys in that video that I wanted to get a lower high, but instead, after hours yesterday and after hours today, it's been an absolute rocket ship. And so I would say at this point, it's broken out. If tomorrow closes above $6 and $605, then this thing can go to 640. We'll be watching the close tomorrow to consider any more puts or calls on Eli Lilly. That wraps me up. Larry, thank you so much for having me today. Thank you, Mo. Thank you, Keenan. It was a great show, in my opinion.
Hey, this is very informative, and I appreciate all of you guys. Somebody said Josh is a freaking technical wizard. I would agree with that. One whole, and we got Kathy in the house. We love you, Kathy. All of us love you guys. Kathy, Luke, we love you guys. Hey, I just want to end by saying this. Someone posted, looks like Mara will be more profitable than crypto. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm different than anybody else. I will probably have more of the crypto mining companies as far as dollar amount. I will probably have more in that than all crypto. That's me. Don't follow me. I'm just a YouTuber out here talking about what I'm going to do. Anything that any of us say is not a suggestion to buy, hold, or sell. But and then I want to talk about something very important. But here's what I also want you guys to do. If you really, 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 really want to come up in your investing, then you need to join the Stock Squad. I'm just telling you, I don't want to oversell it. But the fact is, for those that have been in the Patreon, if you would have literally listened to the plays, and when we say, here's where we're getting in, here's where we're getting out, or just watched our plays over the last month, you are winning. Mo is in there, hot plays. Keenan, hot plays. Myself, Stocks with Josh, hot plays. And we're not looking to put in a play just because it's Tuesday. If it's not a good thing, then we're going to withhold and not put you guys at risk. But you got 4 totally different trading strategies all in one. And so that's what makes it unique, right? So that's going on this video. That's going to be the top link. Okay. So come join us in the Patreon. What I want to say in closing is we've got all of these strikes, right? And we got a war. So we got the UAL strike. You know, the writers just came off of their strike, right? And now we have the healthcare striking over 75,000. And now we actually have 2 wars that these United States of America is involved with both. Whether we're sending a lot of money and weaponry, all right? But here's what I want to tell you. And we have the government that is broke. There's no speaker. And now they've kicked the can down the road. I believe the date, someone correct me. I believe the date is what? November 21st. So just before Thanksgiving. So everything is broke. But here's what I want to tell you guys. And everybody is different. Don't for 1 minute think that politicians that was fighting for the debt ceiling not to get raised and for them to put a temporary Band-Aid on the situation, don't for 1 minute think that they didn't profit off of it. Don't for 1 minute think that they didn't short the market and make money when they knew at the last minute that it wasn't going to pass before they put this Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. What I'm saying to you guys is, and I'm just begging with you, sometimes they put the pressure on you and then they say, oh, this is wrong and that's wrong and you shouldn't be investing in defense stock. And some of these companies, that's all they do is make technology defense. They're not manufacturing bullets and guns. They're just manufacturing, some of them are manufacturing software like Palantir and those type of companies. And they get contracts. So you may think it's morally wrong, but the very people that's doing it, they are actually making money off of it. So it's not a thing of you making money off of war or our incompetency to run our country. Is everyone is at different levels and you have to go according to what you feel, right? I don't invest into certain things because I just don't like them. But we have to be careful that the powers that be don't keep you poor by throwing all of this condemnation on you while they are making money. I just want to put that out there. And it's up to you and to take that and do what you will. But I don't think it's fair for you to feel a certain way and put it on everyone, right? And again, as far as these wars go, you do know that when a war happens, especially, I'm just going to speak for here, you do know that this country makes money off of wars. And there's money to be made, okay? You do know that whenever there's an incumbent president in position, that if we enter into a war, there is like a 95% chance that he will get reelected. I'm not saying that's what's happening because we're not directly in the war, but we have these wars going on. So I want you to separate from your emotions and see what's going on around you, because these people don't care about you. We do. These people don't love you. We do. These people don't want you to be profitable and make money, we do. And that's why we do that. So I'm speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for these gentlemen. And I'm just going to leave it right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to meet up in the Patreon. And it's my turn to bring us over there. So for those of you that have signed up, we're only going to spend about 10 to 15 minutes over in the Patreon. Keenan just explained on me how to do it, and I'm a newbie to it, so I'm going to try. If you guys don't see us over there, I'm working on it, okay? But we will be at the Patreon at 7:15, okay? Hey, thanks for the super chat. We appreciate you guys. Remember, let's study, let's be better. And let me also say this. Some of you guys really need to be taking Keenan's class on top of that. Invest in yourself. If some of you guys need to learn how to do options before you jump into the options trading, right? Some of you guys need to take my class. It's just what it is. And I'm not trying to sell my class. But if you don't know what the S&P 500 is, you don't know what the Dow is and what it does, you don't even know what they track, then you shouldn't be doing options. You should go back and learn your basic fundamentals first and then get into that. So that's for later. I thank each and every one of you gentlemen. Stockmo, I appreciate you. Love you, brother. Keenan Grace, you know you my boy. Stocks with Josh, you already know. We go deep. We go back like Rams and Cadillacs. And we love you family too, okay? So we're going to leave it right there. Live, love, laugh, and learn. We'll see you over in the Patreon.